All right, some thoughts now on how the county is handling the Riverside County Animal Services situation. On the surface, to someone who's not paying attention, and quite honestly, the majority of people don't pay attention, the county went out and hired a national expert to fix it. Whoever is making the decisions at the county, they heard the people and they reacted. In reality, they didn't hear the people. They didn't care about the people. To the contrary, they found the people who brought this up, who were begging and pleading to stop killing so many animals, a complete annoyance. They thought the former director, unqualified for the position, who oversaw the bloodshed, was just doing a terrific job and actually wanted to give her a new 3-year contract. The county only did something when a lawsuit was filed. So what did they do? They gave her a phantom promotion to health services so that she and they could save face. The spin then became they hired Kristen Hassan, nationally known and endorsed by Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, to consult, and paid her the ungodly sum of $2.5 million of your money to consult. On the surface, that's a lot of money, but a good move because they hired the best. Truth is, Kristen Hassan and Best Friends are tied at the hip. Still, if she has a plan to reduce the euthanasia rate at one of the highest kill shelters in America, it's worth it. Truth is, her plan, which has failed miserably in multiple cities, is to reduce the intake. What does that mean? Leave stray animals on the street to fend for themselves. Don't bring them to the shelter, because then we won't have to kill them. Leave them on the street, and they'll just die on their own. All of these changes have occurred under the cloak of secrecy. Now the public is being told they can't attend the ad hoc committee meetings, which was a sham in the first place. On the surface, for people not paying attention, the county is taking action. But if you are paying attention, whoever is making these decisions that you are paying for with your money does not care for 1 second what you think. All right, let's welcome in the married couple of Jamie and Doug Baker. And Jamie, I'll start with you. Why do you think they have banned the public from the ad hoc committee meetings?
Well, they obviously are hiding a much bigger problem that we have already uncovered. So it's not looking good for them at all. That's a very bad decision on their part.
Yeah, Doug, it's an ad hoc committee. I mean, why would you want people that are interested to be there?
You know, Fred, I love a good mystery. I really do. But I haven't read or heard of a mystery as deep as this in my lifetime. I don't know why they do everything they can to irritate the public, ignore the public, and it's almost as every time they pull off another layer of the onion, something worse is happening. So it begs the question, what are they really hiding? What are they really hiding?
Or what don't they want people to understand? They don't even want them to understand their thinking, and they don't want them to question their thinking. And it's just so odd to me, because they seem to keep digging themselves deeper and deeper into the public's mistrust, Doug.
They do. That's exactly right. That's exactly what they're doing. And I don't understand the logic for it. I don't understand who is making the decisions that say, hey, what can we do today to further alienate and irritate the public?
Hey, Jamie, will this debacle affect the way you choose to vote for people like this?
Absolutely. I hope that everyone really pays attention to who is in control of our county and all this money that's just being wasted on this ridiculous situation. Something needs to change.
All right.
Fast.
I agree. Melissa in La Quinta watches the show and wrote the show. She said, I was watching the other night when you were talking about the minimum wage topic and how McDonald's workers get something like $20 an hour. She says, to me, that is insane. I work in the healthcare field. I take care of aging people in their homes, from companion care all the way to hospice care. I went to school, got my license through the state of California to become a certified home health aide, which specifically helps the people on hospice. It's sad that people like me that take care of people in their homes, that work with bodily waste, which sometimes could be contagious and or hazardous, only get paid $18 an hour. Something needs to change in healthcare, specifically caregivers that are way underpaid and work with things a lot of people could not or would not do. Well, we've got some good news. Workers at California's rural independent healthcare facilities will start making a minimum of $18 an hour, while others at hospitals with at least 10,000 full-time employees will begin getting paid at least $23 an hour this week. Their pay increase over the next decade, with a $25 hourly rate kicking in sooner for some. It's unclear what this means for home health care workers. They aren't specifically mentioned from what we could find, but we will keep an eye out on this. Doug, why do you think we pay fast food workers more than some teachers and healthcare workers?
Well, there's two things at play there. Both bother me. The fact that the fast food workers are getting a minimum wage of $20 an hour, no education, no background, no nothing. That's what you're guaranteed to start with. All came about because a union that contributed heavily to our governor's campaign made that happen. They fought to make that happen. That's problem number one. Problem number two, as consumers, we're more willing to pay an extra buck or two for a hamburger than we are to pay a little bit extra for someone to take care of our parents or our loved ones.
Jamie, should California keep the minimum wage based on where you work?
I don't think it should be based on where you work, but what you work in and how much you work and how hard you work.
I agree with that. You know, I think people should be rewarded for hard work. My philosophy has always been people are underpaid. Everybody's underpaid. If you show up, you work hard, you do your job. I don't care what your job is, you're underpaid. And I think the way to correct this, by the way, is to pay people more, but tax companies less. In doing so, the money goes to the people that actually do the work. But of course, when you tax companies less, then government has less money to play with and manipulate and move around. Doug, what do you think of that plan?
I think it's actually a good idea, and I think you could even be wrong. I think if you decrease the taxation on companies, that is money that is going to be saved by the consumers, and the money that is saved by consumers is going to be put back out for use. They're going to be buying more and spending more. Sales tax dollars, that type of thing. So I think it's a great idea. Let's see you try to get it done.
Oh, it'll never get done, but thank you for suggesting that. I've heard that the birth rate in the United States has plummeted. That means that by 2030, the population in the U.S. would start to decline. But right now, in the present, we are already seeing disastrous side effects. Just ask the nurses at Hemet Global Medical Center. That hospital is closing the obstetrics department due to low volume and a physician shortage. Nurses are protesting the move over concerns that pregnant patients, many of whom from underserved communities, would have nowhere close by, I should say, to seek medical care. Could that happen here in the Valley? At the moment, both Desert Regional and Eisenhower have maternity wards. But in a first world country, should we really have to travel about an hour to get prenatal care? Hemet is considered a rural community, and it looks like rural hospitals will be hit the hardest. Jamie, what should be done?
I don't know, but it's really sad. But what can we do? We reach out to local nonprofits like the local Rotary clubs, Lions Club, Kiwanis, to see if they can come to some aid. This has a really, really bad long-term effect. So we need to really look hard into this.
You know, it's funny, Doug, because it all comes down to money, as it always does, and hospitals are going to lose money if they keep those maternity wards open. What do you think should be done?
That's an interesting question. You know, medicine is a business, and they don't have the doctors, they don't have the patient count, they can't stay open. What do we do to help? I don't know. Put pressure on them, and I'm a idiot at times. I say if the local hospital is not going to back you, then you don't back your local hospital. Just turn your back on all their departments and find something else.
Yeah, but the problem with that is if you live in a place like Hemet, a rural area, and you have one hospital to go to, if you need help, if you need aid, I mean, you'll drive an hour and a half to find it. Now, in principle, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah. What do you do? I mean, you're basically out there stuck.
You are. And I feel sorry, but that's business, and business isn't always pretty.
Yeah. Forgot half of what you did, and boy, are you paying for it. Hangovers. Most of us have been there. A night of fun turns into a morning of regret, complete with a pounding headache, nausea, and fatigue. Well, there are plenty of supposed hangover cures, from eating a greasy breakfast to the ill-advised hair of the dog. A recent paper suggests that regular exercise may be the key to alleviating these dreadful mornings. Okay. Now, Jamie, I don't know if you drink or how much. What's the best hangover cure you've ever heard or tried?
I mean, you know, exercise is good for you regardless, but I don't think it has to do with hangovers. It's if you're dumb enough to drink a lot to the point where you have a bad hangover, that's on you. Just drink a lot of water and just flush it out of your system.
You know, I mean, Doug, in your life, you've thrown a few back, I'm sure. What's the best hangover cure you've ever tried?
Me or
I
Doug?
haven't had a hangover since I was a teenager, but I have to admit to you, Fred, I don't know why. I certainly have worked for them a lot in my adult years. And I remember when I had them when I was a teenager, I would just drink water, like Jamie said. I don't think it did any good, but at least I was still drinking.
Yeah, well, that's the key. I mean, do you think if you gutted it out in the gym, Doug, no matter how bad you felt, do you think that would be a better solution?
Okay, you're going to take a guy like me who's in dire need of exercise and suggest that, hey, if I wake up with a hangover, hey, I should go to the gym. No.
No, that's not going to happen for you. Jamie, have you ever seen anybody that has just really experienced a bad hangover?
Oh, come on. We've all been there. We've all seen it. You know, you always think, yeah, I'm never going to do it again. That's the worst feeling ever. But for some reason, we tend to somehow find a way to do it yet again.
There you go. All right, you guys have a good weekend.